I hear a lot of people talk about towing and buying the F-150 for towing, and a lot of topics about how to set things up. And I just want to take a minute because I kind of tow some of the largest things you can tow, pretty much the biggest trailer you can pull behind one of these, and then I also max the payload out by trailering or by carrying a UTV, a Honda Pioneer. And so I've been doing so for a number of years, so I just thought it would be helpful to make a quick video that talks about the setup and why I have it that way. So, some people don't necessarily love the tow mirrors. I find those pretty essential if you're actually going to be towing. I don't think you have to worry too much about the front suspension setup as I do on the rear. So for the rear, I do have Roadmaster active suspension in here. You'll hear some individuals talk about that. That's right here. And then it does require an offset of your bump stops. But then it also lowers the bump stops a little bit, which can be helpful if you actually max out the payload. I have never bumped that since I've had RAS installed. In addition to that, I did go with the Bilstein 5100s, so I do highly recommend those. I had used Rough Country before, and frankly, they were pretty terrible. Been very happy with the Bilsteins though, so I understand why some people recommend them. That's generally what I do for a setup here. I will mention a few other things real quick. Inside the cab, I do have positioned right here. I have a Halo View backup camera. I use that when I pull my camper. I am a big fan of tonneau covers, and so I do have a backflip MX4, and one of the things I like about the MX4 is that when I'm trailering things, like say for example I'm going with my UTV and I'm going to go off-roading, I can put all my extra stuff back here, such as the ramps, tie-down straps, any extra gear I have, and actually lock it up, and I don't have to worry about that getting stolen, which is nice when I don't have a trailer. In the back here, I am actually using an Anderson. So I know some people swear by some other setups. I can tell you exactly why I like the Anderson. So first of all, I can kind of leave it all the time on here. Some of the other ones are so large they have to be taken off. The other thing I like is if I use this as a regular tow ball hitch, say for example I pull a small trailer or a boat or something similar, there's a clutch mechanism in here. So even if I don't have to use weight distribution, I have a clutch mechanism in here that stops the sway. Even if I just have a trailer or something like that, like a boat, I don't have to hook up anything else to get sway control. That is something nobody else can offer when you're pulling something like a landscaping trailer or similar. So I do appreciate that. The other side of the Anderson here, it does have these bushings that compress, and the beauty of it, when people talk about complexity, is all I have to do is pull right up to the trailer. I put the ball on, I jack this all the way up, I slide this right onto the bottom of the Anderson hitch, stick the pin inside of it, and hand tighten these, okay, then lower the jack, and I'm done. It takes me a maximum of 45 seconds to a minute to hook up or disconnect when I'm trailing, which is really convenient. I did go ahead and install the backup assist with the Ford. It does work right here. I know it's not quite the same specs that it tells you. It does work right here. I never use it. I find it somewhat useless, although I understand some people that have really small trailers do appreciate having that functionality. So one of the reasons I bought the P500 was to be able to put it in the back of a pickup truck. I know a lot of people, even on my truck forums, question this and say, hey, you really should buy a trailer. But anyway, I don't care what they say. A lot of people with these, this UTV do it for a reason. It's only 1,025 pounds, so there's no reason you can't put this in the back of a truck. I think a lot of people just assume that because it's a UTV, it's got to be huge. It's 50 inches wide. It fits between the wheel well. It's also, as I mentioned, only 1,025 pounds. I have 1,700 pounds payload. So I'm nowhere close to my payload capacity on this truck. Now, the one thing that it does do is, even though I have the 6.5 foot bed, it is going to sit on my tailgate. So I do, there is not an official load rating for these tailgates. While some people will trust these cables, it makes me a little nervous, and I've heard just enough horror stories that I personally am not comfortable with it. And so there's these products out there called the DG Tailgate EX Supports, which, after a little bit of research, I know there's a few solutions. A few people say, hey, put a big old 4x8 down here that you can put it on. But at the end of the day, that ends up being, with wood prices where they're at, it's literally cheaper just to buy these. So, and then I have to put 4x8 in here every time I go anywhere. And then when I'm actually at trails, I can't lock the bed up because there's a freaking 4x8 in there. So, what makes the most sense is to use these EX supports, which are pretty rock solid steel. So, I don't think that my tailgate's going to go anywhere with these. So what they do is they pretty easily just snap into place here in your bed, and then they clip up there, and then all of a sudden now you have very strong support for whatever is sitting on your tailgate, and it works in parallel with your current tailgate supports. So that's what I purchased to solve for that problem, which hopefully will, which keeps you safe on the road. And the nice thing is, it's so easy to disconnect that when I'm at a park, I can just disconnect it. When I roll my UTV out, I throw those in the bed, and then I also can put my ramps in the bed, and I can lock it up with this tonneau cover, which I use the Backflip MX, which is a nice, solid, hard trifold. I know everyone calls it trifold, but there's actually 4 sections when you have the 6.5 foot bed. So now it's all secure, locked up here, so no one can steal my ramps. And I am secure when I'm at the trails, and I am secure on the road. So really good setup there with the DG Tailgate EX supports. Unfortunately, I found a lot of these providers of these ramps have recently started downsizing the ramp sizes. So you can get by okay with a 50-inch, but I personally found this 84-inch by 54-inch one. And I must say that even though the maximum weight is a little bit lower than some of the others that are 1,700 or 2,200, 1,500 is enough for me and the UTV, and I really like the extended length and the extra couple inches of width here, and so this seems like a wonderful trifold ramp option. But I did notice a number of them that were maybe 54 inches or 52 inches last year. Due to cost of materials, all of a sudden the models that were just updated all of a sudden dropped down to 50 inches, 40